fellow Ambazonians. I come to you today with a solemn yet fiery message. A message of resolve, of truth, and of challenge. Almost 9 years into this war of liberation, a war forced upon us by the oppressive machinery of La République du Cameroun, I stand before you today to declare that the state of our struggle is strong and the future of our mission remains incredibly promising. The enemy has not won. The oppressor has not conquered. La République du Cameroun has thrown everything at us. Their soldiers, their bullets, propaganda, and the collaborators. And yet, 9 years later, it cannot proclaim victory. Lately, Paul Biya's social media, Twitter page is filled with chants or messages of one and indivisible. But even his closest allies know that that lie has collapsed under the weight of truth. Reality rejects their delusion. If Cameroon were one and indivisible, then why, after nearly a decade, can they not access our villages, our towns, cities freely like before? Why are their colonial mayors hiding across the borders in foreign towns? Why can't Dion Ngute, the so-called son of the soil, even walk freely in his own constituency? Their senators, their parliamentarians, their chiefs, they all continue to hide out in Cameroon, afraid to come home. If the war were over, and we remain one and indivisible as they want us to believe, why are hundreds of thousands of our people still internally displaced? Why are tens of thousands still refugees across Africa and beyond? If the war were over, where is their so-called reconstruction? Where is their peace? And where is their presence? Let me tell you one thing. The war still rages on. We see carcasses of Cameroon soldiers on a weekly basis abandoned in the streets of Bamenda, Bui, Fako, and Boyo. We see prized institutions like Cameroon security barracks being razed down all over Ambazonia. We see old fighters reorganizing and resolving to defend the land till victory is ours. You will see La République du Cameroun propaganda all over their media, suggesting our fighters are surrendering. They are giving up. Yes, one may surrender, but we still have battalions who have not blinked and will not blink, waiting in the trenches to defend our aspiration. Our restoration fighters remain firm, resilient, and ready. They fight not just with guns, but with courage, born out of conviction. They fight not just for today, but for tomorrow. They fight so that your children will not grow up in chains. Yes, we have our own challenges. But trust me when I say the state of our cause, the state of our revolution is strong. The flame of Ambazonia still burns because our pain is real, our history is real, and our right to self-determination is non-negotiable. Non-negotiable. Now, I did not come today merely to cheer you up. I did not come to educate you as I do most often. I came to challenge you. I came to challenge you in ground zero and you in the diaspora. There are too many among us who still refer to this great movement as that one thing, or that your thing. Let me speak directly to you today. This is not someone else's thing, ladies and gentlemen. This is your thing. This is our thing. The liberation of Ambazonia is not a private enterprise. It is not a club. It is a national cause. The victory of this struggle will bless all of us, including the unborn. And the failure of this struggle will damn all of us, including those still in their mother's womb. So let no one say it again that Wuna thing. Because when our fighters die, when our valiant defenders die, they die for you. When our women are raped, they are raped because of the name we all carry. When the day of freedom comes, the gates of that freedom will open for all, not just for those who fought, but even for those who doubted. And to those who whispered that perhaps, we can find a solution by joining Cameroon and participating in their elections. Let me remind you today, we tried that route for over 60 years. We played their politics. We voted. We begged. We waited. And what did we get in return? Marginalization, slaughter, humiliation, military occupation. Our history with La République du Cameroon teaches us one thing. They do not want partnership. They want possession. And we say, no, it's not going to happen. Never again shall Ambazonia be ruled from Yaoundé. Now, ladies and gentlemen, permit me to shift your attention to a matter of grave concern affecting our people abroad, particularly here in the United States of America. As many of you are now aware, the Trump administration has canceled the TPS, Temporary Protected Status designation for Cameroon. This cancellation is set to go into effect in June, and the implications are severe. It means that anyone the international community calls Cameroonian, and in that matter, terminology, they also include Ambazonians and La Republicans under the TPS who entered the U.S. without legal status. It means they will be required to leave voluntarily or be deported back to Cameroon. This is not just policy. This is a death sentence for Southern Cameroonians, Ambazonians living in the USA. Because we are not safe in Cameroon, that country is at war with us. Let me be clear. America granted Cameroon TPS in the first place because of the ongoing conflict in Ambazonia, Southern Cameroons. The TPS was never meant to benefit citizens of La République du Cameroon who face no threat at all, no persecution, no gunfire, and no raids in their country. But what happened? Citizens of French Cameroon hijacked the benefit, the TPS. They then flooded the United States of America, claimed the war, took shelter under TPS, when in fact, they are not the victims. They are the aggressors. So what is happening now? Those who truly qualify for the protection, that is Ambazonians, are being lumped together with citizens of La République du Cameroon and are now at risk of deportation. That is unjust, dangerous, and morally unacceptable. Let me give you another example. Take the case of Augustin Foka Adjoa, a U.S. citizen of Ambazonian heritage. He was arrested in Douala in January under suspicious circumstances. He was then taken to his he was taken from his hotel, interrogated, tortured, and disappeared. Today he remains locked up in Yaoundé. He is held deteriorating just for being a Southern Cameroonian. Now, If a U.S. citizen is not safe back in that country, what do you think will happen to a Southern Cameroonian TPS holder who returns or who is forced to return? Undocumented Ambazonians I'm referring to here. I have no doubt that for many of our people here in the United States, this is a matter of life and death. That is why this past Saturday, the interim government of Ambazonia held an emergency meeting. We also consulted with our American partners, and we are now taking action, and it involves you. First, we are preparing a comprehensive document to submit to U.S. authorities, especially the Department of Homeland Security and the U.S. State Department. This document will clearly explain that there are two Cameroons, and their citizens cannot all be lumped together in this matter. That Ambazonians face grave danger if deported, and that French Cameroonians are using a war. They are not victims to gain protection they do not deserve. Second, we are calling on all Ambazonian leaders and groups in the U.S. to stand united on this message, from the churches to the cultural associations, to stay up advocacy. We must speak with one voice. We must declare that Southern Cameroonians are not French Cameroonians, and they must not be lumped together and deported back to a land that wants them dead. That is our message. And then thirdly, we urge every Southern Cameroonian Ambazonian in the United States to call your local congressmen and senators, call their offices, ask them to support the recent resolution in Congress that seeks to protect Ambazonians from deportation. Tell them that deporting Southern Cameroonians is like sending Jews back to Nazi Germany. We face torture, imprisonment, and worse. Use your social media platforms to channel messages like this on Twitter, especially to U.S. government officials. Finally, the interim government is building a list, a database of every Southern Cameroonian currently under TPS or at risk of deportation. If you are listening and you are one of them, or you know someone who is, please ask them to reach out at this email to us. And the email is ambazoniaig at gmail.com. Everybody has to be documented to separate our people from Francophones who have nothing to fear of in a deportation. Provide your name, provide your local government name, the county, and other basic information like contact purposes. This will help us create an official list of our people to forward to U.S. authorities. We cannot just fold our hands and lament that people are going to be deported. Maybe this initiative can protect our people from being wrongfully grouped together with those who face no danger. I'm referring here to a lot of political Cameroon citizens. This weekend, we will be hosting a crucial town hall meeting of all Southern Cameroonians who are charged under the TPS or immigration limbo. Spread the word when you get the date and time. No Ambazonian should go through this alone. Today, I am calling on all Ambazonians across North America alongside the leadership of the interim government and our comrades in the Southern Cameroons National Council, the SCNC North America, to rise with one voice and with one purpose. On April the 28th, April the 28th, we have planned for a massive gathering in Washington, D.C. in front of the State Department to appeal to U.S. authorities to protect AMBAZONIANs, protect Southern Cameroonians, not to deport them. We want the policymakers in America to feel our worries and our pain. Let them know that AMBAZONIANs are not invisible, that we are not expendable, that we will not stay silent while our families are thrown into the fire. I am speaking now to every Southern Cameroonian in New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, even North Carolina, Ohio, wherever that you are. This is your moment to show up for your people. This is our call, your call to duty for April 28 in Washington, D.C. Take the day off. Call in sick. Rearrange your schedule if you must. This is bigger than convenience. It is bigger than comfort. This is about survival and solidarity. We must not fold our arms and grumble, just grumble in private, while our own blood is in chains, facing deportation to face torture, indefinite detention, or death. How can we call ourselves a people of resistance if we refuse to resist when it matters the most? We must gather, not as spectators, but as warriors of conscience. We must gather, not just to speak, but to shake the conscience of U.S. policymakers. And we must do so now. Fellow AMBAZONIANs, as I stated from the beginning, I have not come to you today only to inform you and to educate you. I promise to challenge you on the ground and you in the diaspora. There comes a time in the life of a people when silence ceases to be caution and becomes complicity. When neutrality in the face of evil is no longer mere fear, but full-blown betrayal. That time is now for the people of the Southern Cameroons. Over 8 years into the brutal campaign waged by La République du Cameroon against the people of the Southern Cameroons, AMBAZONIA, it sometimes amazes me how the very people under the siege are acting as though they are under some kind of spiritual hypnosis, lulled into nonchalance and slumber, while their land and their people is being dismembered and their future auctioned off to the enemy. How else can one describe this absurd quietness in the face of so much bloodshed? Every week, our people are hunted down by Francophone soldiers and summarily executed. Communities are terrorized. Women are raped. Homes set ablaze. Clergymen abducted. Young men dragged from their homes in front of their families and shot like animals. But even in the face of such systemic evil, some Southern Cameroonians act as though nothing is happening. Instead of rage, there is resignation. Instead of collective action, there is an individualistic retreat into shares of self-preservation. It is as if some invisible force has bewitched the people into choosing submission over survival. Worse still, many now fraternize with the very regime that is slaughtering their own. They speak of our country when referring to La République du Cameroon as if the same state hasn't made clear through its tanks and bullets that Southern Cameroons is nothing more than a conquered colony to them. They talk of voting in La République du Cameroon's elections. why their own brothers rot in jail cells without trial for daring to demand freedom. They engage with francophone bureaucrats as if no mercy has returned, while occupation troops continue their genocidal campaigns in our hinterlands. This is not just self-deception, it is national suicide in slow motion. If this were not tragic enough, there are traitors among us, among Southern Cameroonians, actively aiding the enemy's strategy. So-called activists in La République du Cameroon, ladies and gentlemen, dressed in Anglophone skins but serve the interests of Yaoundé, have taken up the role of informants, propaganda tools, and confusion agents. They do not fight for Ambazonia. They fight against Ambazonia. Their job is to weaken the resistance, sow discord among patriots, and distract the people from the true enemy. And yet, many still listen to them. They share their videos, quote them as authorities. Where is our collective consciousness? How have we fallen so far? Now, let us speak plainly about the most recent insult. Tax collections, water bills in neighborhoods across the southern Cameroons. Agents of La République du Cameroon are walking around freely distributing water bills, taxes, most of them printed in French, to Ambazonian homes. These bills are not minor amounts. Some run into hundreds of thousands and even millions. This is not governance, ladies and gentlemen. It is extortion. This is not service delivery. It is a subtle method of occupation, a psychological operation to normalize Cameroon's presence in a land where it has no moral historical or legal legitimacy. Where are protests? Where is the civil disobedience? Where is the outrage? Nowhere. The people pay these bills quietly, then murmur in small corners and move on. They act like it's normal for a foreign power to impose taxes and utilities in their land, while sending their sons in military uniforms to kill the very people being built. It is insanity wrapped in silence. Very soon, electric bills will follow, then property taxes, then land seizures, then another round of elections. And with each of these, Ambazonia will disappear further into the grave of assimilation. The sad truth is that too many Southern Cameroonians have embraced selfish survival over collective liberation. They have made peace with oppression. So long as their own stomachs are full and their families are untouched, they are not in jail, they are not behind bars, they are not killed, at least for now. But that illusion won't last. History has proven that tyranny, once fed, always comes for more. You think you are safe, your family is safe because you are silent? The day is coming when even your silence will not save you. When they come for your land, your identity, your language, and finally your children, you will only realize that your comfort was bought at the cost of your nation, your people, your children. Let this be said loud and clear, ladies and gentlemen. You cannot vote your way out of colonial occupation. You cannot beg your way into freedom. You cannot negotiate with a gun pointed to your head. La République du Cameroon is not a partner. Not a partner. It is a parasite. It feeds on your silence, thrives on our division, and celebrates our hypnotized complacency. And unless we rise in unison and say enough, enough, The death of Ambazonia will not be a tragedy. It will be a choice, our choice. To those in the diaspora and in towns and villages waiting for someone else, ladies and gentlemen, to act, to fight, understand this. The war is already at your doorstep. You are not exempt. You are not invisible. The systematic rule out of colonial structures, utility billing, elections, French education, military expansion, camps everywhere are tools of conquest. If you allow them to install themselves unchallenged, you will soon wake up in a land that is no longer yours, speaking a language you never choose, and serving masters you never elected. You may not carry a gun. You may not lead a protest. But you can refuse. You can resist by rejecting their bills, tearing down their flags, burning down their election material, and bringing down their barracks and boycotting their elections and shaming their collaborators. You can protect your community. Donate to your community, the fighters there, and also by educating your children about their identity. You can give to the resistance. You can expose traitors. You can speak truth, even if your voice shakes. But if you do nothing, if you continue to walk around like hypnotized victims, muttering about unity while your house burns, then you are digging your own grave. You are handing over your future to people who want to erase your name from history. We are at a crossroads. We are at a crossroads. One path leads to freedom, dignity, and restoration. The other leads to annihilation, assimilation, and regret. Southern Cameroonians must choose, and choose we must now. Fellow Ambazonians, this is what I leave you with today. The struggle is worth every effort. It is worth every sacrifice. Because what we are fighting for is not just territory. It is our survival, our dignity, and our right to be a people. So whether you are in Womb or in Washington, D.C., in Bamenda or in Boston, in Boya or in Baltimore, let us renew our commitment. This is my challenge to you. Let us revive our courage. Let us remember our mission. We are Ambazonia. We are a people. We are not Cameroon. And we shall be free. God bless you all. Long live the Federal Republic. Short live the struggle.